What's up, Professor Wergeles here. We are on lecture number 18. We're going to go over the introduction to PHP. Make sure you download the before class content, unzip it on your local machine, and use FileZilla to upload that to your public HTML directory. Remember, the public HTML directory is the var www html, which we are in here. We also created a lectures directory. That way we can easily find our code on the server. You can type your public DNS, type in lectures, hit enter. You'll see all the different code sets that we're going to be going over. So if I click intro to PHP, we're going to be going over firstpage.php. So you can actually see the server's directory structure on the browser. Now, we're going to be working with FileZilla a lot. So you're going to want to get familiar with it. We're going to be using it to upload files and also to edit our code. Now, if I go over to the FileZilla settings on Mac, you'll click FileZilla, hit settings. On Windows, I believe it's under edit and then settings. So I'm going to go to my settings and you're going to see this menu here. I'm going to go over to the file editing page and here you're going to see do not use default editor, use custom editor. So we want this to open up in brackets. So I'm going to select the use custom editor. I'm going to go over to browse. I'm going to look for my application called brackets. So I'm going to select brackets. Click on open. You should see applications/brackets.app. On Windows, you need to go to your C, program files, and then find the brackets executable file. In addition, you'll see use file type associations it's available and always use the default editor. So here you're going to select always use the default editor. Click on OK. Now when I come into my intro to PHP lecture, I'm going to right-click on firstpage.php, click View and Edit, and FileZilla will now open that code up in brackets for you. Now notice up at the top, you're actually going to see it's in a temp directory, and it's going to be a temporary file. So as soon as you close FileZilla, the temporary file will be deleted. However, this is much nicer than working on your local machine because on your local you need to save it and then upload using FileZilla, and then refresh the page. Whereas here, I can just right-click to do a view and edit. Once you save the file, FileZilla will ask you if you want to upload it. You click yes. FileZilla will upload it for you automatically, which we'll see here. The only issue is the code is not on your local machine. So let's say at the end of the semester you delete the server, the code is also going to be deleted from the server. So what I like to do is after a lecture is over, go ahead and copy that lecture back to your local machine. And in addition, at the end of the semester, we're going to copy the entire public HTML directory to our local machine. That way we have all of the edits we did over the semester. So make sure you're keeping track of your code and making sure you have a backup on your local machine. That way, in case anything happens to your server, you've already backed up the code. You can just launch a new server, upload the code, and you're good to go. Okay, I've opened up firstpage.php. If you don't have a server running, you can always open this up on your local machine and go ahead and take the notes and the code and follow along and later upload that to the server to test it. However, I recommend going back, watching the videos, start up your server, start a LAMP stack, install all the appropriate software and packages, and go ahead and code along with me. That way you get a feel for what it's like programming on the server. Now on my page, you're going to see a regular HTML page. I have the 5 required tags, and then I have an H1 here. If I click on the page on the browser, you're going to see that page load. Now I want to write PHP. PHP is a server-side scripting language, so it can only be ran on the server, or if you have a fake server on your local machine. You can't just open up this file in a browser on your local machine like we've been doing and see the PHP code. Okay, it's not going to run. Most likely, you're going to see the PHP code print out on the screen. And in addition, if you didn't install a LAMP stack properly and you're missing the PHP compiler, when you load it from the browser on your server, you may also see the PHP code printed out to the screen, which is the case that you don't have a server or you don't have PHP installed on the server. So make sure you have a server, you have PHP installed. That way, when you run this code, it goes smoothly. So how do I write PHP code? Well, when I start writing PHP code, you're going to make sure you always start with this. It's going to be a left arrow question mark PHP, and then a question mark right arrow to close the PHP script. PHP scripts can be anywhere as long as you have a PHP compiler. The only requirement is if there's PHP inside the code, you need to put a .php extension. That way the server knows to be looking for this PHP. If I have .html, most likely the PHP will just print to the screen and you'll see the written code on the screen instead of the code executing. For PHP, there's a few ways to print to the screen. One of them is going to be an echo. And let's say I do hello world, printed from PHP. Now with PHP, every line of code needs to end with a semicolon, similar to JavaScript. So I need to add the semicolon, save the code. Once I save the code, you're going to see FileZilla start jumping up and down. This is a temporary file. FileZilla is keeping track of it, and now it just noticed some changes. So you'll see it's hopping up and down. If I come back to FileZilla, it says the file has been changed. Do you want to upload it to the server? So you'll click on yes. You'll wait for this to finish executing. You'll see it's finished executing. Come back to the browser, do a refresh, and you should see the PHP script executed, which says hello world printed from PHP. Now what's cool about PHP is you can actually print out HTML. So I can put this, let's say, in an H2, hello world. Make sure you do your close H2 tag. And make sure you have your semicolon. Click save. Come back to FileZilla. It noticed the changes. Click on yes. Wait till it's finished uploading to the server. Come back to the browser. Do a refresh. And you'll see an H2 is actually on the page. The browser sees that the PHP printed in H2, and the browser renders it on the page as an H2. If I do an inspect, open up the Elements tab, open up the body, you'll see an H1, just some random text, and then an H2. Pretty cool if you ask me, because the server will run this PHP script. HTML code has been printed, and then the HTML will load and the browser will render that HTML. So this is how you start a PHP script and how you end a PHP script. Stick with Professor Worgley's. We're going to continue to number 2, which is comments in PHP. We'll see you in the next video.